Greetings, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to the next exciting chapter in what I'm coining Masterpath May. And this week, you take it to the Master Path. We have a new moon on Tuesday that not only plants the seeds of new ideas, but the potential for abundance. And Uranus moves into Taurus for the first time in 83 years. From my smartphone to yours, keep streaming for your weekly Namaste Today. Welcome to Namaste Today, the perfect setup for a life of play. I'm your host and the Sensei to serious joy, Christopher Witecki. Welcome back, my brothers and sisters. Namaste. We're into my favorite month of the year, which is the month of May, and I'm coining this May as Masterpath May because I believe for those who are ready, it is time to move on to a master path of manifestation. And I've come to this conclusion for many reasons, of which I'll talk about this week, but mostly, this is the first time that we have planted seeds in Taurus with our ego cleared out from Uranus and Aries and our spirituality healed from Chiron and Pisces. In other words, this particular lap around the track is more fertile, you have a faster race car, and you no longer have as much drag or karmic drag on your spiritual vehicle. So this week we're going to talk about how we have a new moon and how you're going to plant some seeds that hopefully will turn into a crop. And I'm also going to dive deep for the soul collective and what everyone is dealing with in the collective conscious. But first, let's take a look at the week's moods and your zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is from Monday, May 14th to Friday, May 18th, 2018. Looking at your 5-day moodcast. Looking at the week at a glance, it's a steady climb up every day, 2 steps every day, and 1 cloudy day, Wednesday. Let's drill down. On Monday, it's partly cloudy and ascending. Step 23 moves to step 24, and a moon in Taurus lines you up for the new moon. On Tuesday, it's sunny and super creative. The new moon apex is in the morning, and step 25 Taurus ends the day. On Wednesday, it's cloudy, overcast, and super pensive. Step 25 and 6 rule a day, and the moon in Gemini pulls you into your head. On Thursday, it's sunny and super certain. It's also Love Fest Day. Step 26 and 27 rule, and the moon crossing Venus in Gemini opens up or brings new ideas. And then on Friday, it's sunny and super passionate. Step 27 and 28 rule the day, and a moon in Cancer creates a grand trine in water that emotionally matures you. Well, looking at the week ahead, this is really about not just planting an idea, but planting an entire crop. In our next segment, Soul Collective, I'm going to talk about the collective conscious and what you're planting. Taking a sneak peek at the upcoming week. This week, the Soul Collective is planting new crops. Now, every year when the sun goes into Taurus, human beings sort of plant their soul garden. Some people literally garden. Some people sit there and dream about what they want to manifest in the summer. Some people kind of realize, oh my God, half the year is over. I've got to get cracking. And so this spring fever is in the air. And every year we kind of plant something that we want to see come to harvest. But this year happens to be kind of a super year because of many conscious trends that are changing. For instance, this year when you plant, you are planting after Uranus has completed its transit in Aries. In other words, human beings have cleared out their ego and taken their ego to the next level. Some people move to an evolved ego, which I call the winged ego. Some people decided to stay with the grounded ego, but they still got stronger, they fortified, and they're nice and shiny too. So everyone has had an ego makeover, or putting it in more simple terms, everyone has actually, since 2012, when Uranus entered into Aries, everyone has had to face their strength issues. Their issues around willpower, their issues around determination. So we're all very strong, basically. We're all spiritually very strong, and we're in our most ready state than we have been in our entire lifetime due to Uranus moving through Aries. Another aspect that is clear now is Chiron is moving into Aries. Chiron has been in Pisces, healing our spiritual karma. So not only are we ready to take action, but most of the people on the planet who are awake have kind of cleared a lot of their spiritual baggage. They've faced a lot of their karma. They've identified their repeating patterns, and they have ended it. So in this planting season, we not only have this new, shiny, strong ego part of us, but we also feel somewhat karma-free. We feel like we're over some of our ancient fears. To some degree, we are more fearless than we have ever been. Not that there aren't reasons to be afraid or whatever, but I think, looking in yourself. So this year, when you plant your intentions, you are planting intentions with a healthy ego and a cleared out spiritual matrix. That's amazing. That right there says that you have the potential for more yield than you have ever had in your entire life. But here is the clincher. It has to do with Uranus. Uranus is moving into Taurus on Wednesday for the first time in 83 years. Uranus in Taurus is kind of like, gosh, I don't even know, but some sort of flower fertilizer. Like, I'm trying to think of the name of the flower fertilizer that people get every year. I know it's probably evil and Monsanto based, but basically Uranus in Taurus means that we are going to grow. That whatever seeds you plant this year, you're going to have this super fertilizer of Uranus in Taurus that's going to help you take it. So a lot of times when we have a manifestation, we don't have anything kind of poking us in the butt to keep moving. Okay, so you know how it is. Grandpa started like that model in the garage, and he gets to it, and he's been working on it for 20 years. Grandma's been cross-knitting this blanket. She picks it up and puts it down for whatever. You've been trying to write your book. You'll pick it up and put it down. You never follow through with your manifestation. Uranus in Taurus will mean that we won't have the ability to put whatever we're creating down. The universe will be honest, and will stay honest for 6 full years, telling us to keep growing, keep going. So this year, we have this unique moment where we not only are kind of karma-free and feeling strong, but we have almost got like a 6-year contract from the universe to put super fertilizer on whatever this is and help it grow into its full potential. So it's a big deal. And this week is really where you plant the seeds to making that happen. This week, you move forward and say, okay, I want to do this. Now, it's very possible that whatever you're thinking of planting, whatever you're thinking of creating, you're not seeing it to some super mega size. That's fine. You don't have to envision this as abundance. You don't have to envision this as gigantic. I'm just telling you that it's going to be. Okay, like Miracle Grow. That's what I was trying to think of, Miracle Grow. Because the universe is going to put some Miracle Grow on this stuff, and it's going to make it grow. All you need to focus on is what your heart is really interested in this week. Now, one of the things that has to happen this week with the new moon, we have a new moon on Tuesday. This will be where you actually move forward and accept and receive whatever it is you want to create. And the new moon is at step 24 on Tuesday, which means that the new moon is about us actually accepting our potential. And so versus making a plant or making taking that initial first shovel of dirt, like breaking ground ceremony, this new moon isn't breaking ground. This new moon isn't the planting. This new moon is step 24, which means this new moon is accepting your potential emotionally. That's what you have to do. So you have to accept that you are abundant and fertile and ready to go. You have to accept emotionally that you have the potential to manifest abundance versus just what you need every month, so to speak. So on Tuesday, the first step of us moving forward is us emotionally accepting that this is possible. And that means you let it hit your soul without any argument. Nothing inside of you tries to argue. Nothing inside of you tries to sabotage. And holding that note of nothing inside of you sabotaging is what I think Tuesday is about. And by the way, the new moon happens very early in the morning. We'll talk more about it in the tea time. After we do this, it's almost immediately at that moment that you must also stay steadfast with your ambitions on where you've been tested. Uranus in Aries is at step 29 in the new moon, which means the winged ego, you can't stop with that initiative. You have to continue forward with all of your ego choices. And I think, I don't know about you, but for me, there's been many times when I wanted to give up. Like, oh, this sucks. And then my mind's like, oh, it's Uranus at 29. We have to keep going. You know what I mean? Like kind of thing. So the other is Mars is at step 29 Capricorn. And this has to do with the collective conscious has been working on changing the way we control things, changing the way we manage things ever since Saturn went into Capricorn on December 20th. In this new moon, as you are accepting and receiving your fertility, your abundance, and your potential, you're also being tested on all of your control issues, which means probably a lot of you is going to be holding back, wondering if it's going to work out, thinking about, resorting to the old methods in order to get what you want out of life, so having to kind of sit on your hands. So it's kind of a weird moment because we have to sit on our hands and not be controlling in the old way, surrender control to the new winged ego, and accept that we are worth more than we've ever said we were. Okay, and I know I don't want to say it's hard, but I will say it's a sophisticated moment this week. And what does this mean in practical terms? In practical terms, it means that this is the final lap of putting into motion what you want to manifest, and you absolutely cannot let any of the old parts of yourself ruin the cake. You can't let your old ego come in and damage it. You can't let your old control issues, and you can't let your old thinking also talk you out of it. If you want to plant something that is truly abundant, you must not screw it up this time. Okay, and I'm talking to myself here. And I think that that's what this week is really about as we're planting crops, is we're mostly just moving forward with the motion and preventing ourselves from doing any harm to ourselves or the situation. Now, this week is going to have, I think, a real change tone. We have Wednesday, Uranus moves into Taurus. And so as of Wednesday, finally the pressure to be perfect or to have the winged ego, that pressure subsides. It's not going to be in Taurus all year. It actually retrogrades back into Aries, but I think that'll be a recalculating moment now that we've seen a little bit of the Taurus. So this does mean that that you're going to feel not this pressure to perform, but you're going to shift, and the pressure is going to move to manifest now, to create more, to yield more. And I think we're going to feel energetically the shift of Uranus into Taurus, because in Aries, in these last degrees, it has been hell, I got to tell you. And a lot of people have written me and asked me, like, why has it been so crazy the last 3 weeks? Uranus at step 29 Aries, that's the final test of all the ego lessons since 2012. That's what it is. We're all being tested, and we all have like little twerks and, you know what I mean, like trying to get through it. So as of Wednesday, there's a real tonal shift because Uranus goes into Taurus and Mars crosses over into Aquarius. So basically, you want to stay steadfast Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is going to feel really weird because you're going to feel all the channels kind of shifting. Thursday, I think you're going to feel super strong, and it will be Love Fest Day. So what happens is after this weird shift of energy, come Thursday, you're feeling the love, and you want to just start channeling that into the manifestation, by the way, and into the future thinking. So I guess as of Wednesday, turn your back on the past and never look back, okay? Because otherwise, if you bring up the past, the karma, the old ego, anything, it's just going to pollute the new garden. It's just going to end up limiting your potential on what you can manifest this year. So Love Fest Day is on Thursday. We're loving it. And then on Friday, we actually have the moon moves into Cancer. And so on Friday, we start emotionally coping with this new manifestation. In other words, wow, I'm on a new path. I'm manifesting something good. I'm really growing up. I really am leaving my troubles behind. And I think probably on Friday, Saturday, a lot of it is us emotionally seeing the summer coming here in North America, seeing that life's about to change, and kind of feeling committed to what we have to manifest. And at that point, late Sunday, we shift to 0 degrees Gemini. So it moves from manifestation now to our ideas. So this week is really the final push of planting your crops. And I believe that looking through the summer, I'm going to talk about this in future shows, but the universe basically conspires to keep investing energy into these crops from this point forward, which I have not seen before as an astrologer. I've not seen this much concerted effort around manifestation. We have the North Node in Leo. We have a solar eclipse in Leo, which is going to give it a bunch of love. Our soul garden is going to get watered with a solar eclipse in Cancer in July. We have a lunar eclipse at step 4 Aquarius at the end of July, and that's going to be us pulling our weeds. So the whole year, the universe is just going to be taking over for this manifestation and carrying it forward. And so it's super important that you understand what you're planting and why. And with that said, I think we have an excellent segue for our tea time. Go steep yourself some tea, my friend, and let's have a new moon tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. This week's tea time topic is new moon, new abundance. This week we have a very powerful new moon. This new moon will be at step 24 Taurus. And the interesting thing about this is that step 24 is about receiving. So this emotional new moon, which is what it always is, we get kind of tender, we get kind of emotionally choked up over what we're doing. That's because the moon and sun are coming together, which means our feelings and our heart are coming together about something. And the conscious step that we want to have happen on this new moon is we want to accept with gratitude who you really are and what you really deserve. So this means that the new moon challenge is for you not to talk yourself out of it, not to feel bad, not to bring up the past, not to let your ego try to sabotage it. It's basically going to be you holding space and accepting what you are and not letting any part of you interfere. Okay? And I say this with a lot of underscore stress because I think this is one of the most fertile weeks of the entire year. This might be one of the most fertile weeks of the entire decade. What that means is whether you try to or not, you're going to plant seeds. They're going to kind of replicate, and replicate. So this is not the week to do something negative. This is not the week to say something on social media that you regret because you're going to see that come back. This is not the week to fall into your old behavior. This is not the week to do something sinister. Okay? Like, this is the week to be the good boy or girl that you are in your heart and accept and receive that things are changing and that you deserve more. Now, the accept and receive is the part that most of my clients have a hard time with, frankly. A lot of people can manifest, they can get things done or whatever, but when it comes time to receive the hug or receive the award or receive the cash, they actually have reservations. Their mind says they don't deserve it. Something doesn't feel right. Their intuition spooks them out from their karma. And so a lot of people end up sabotaging what they're trying to create, not because they couldn't create it, but because they couldn't accept it. They couldn't accept and receive and let that wave come back and hit them. So my tried and true method for accepting and receiving is gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude of receiving, which means on Tuesday morning when we have the new moon, if nothing else, all you need to do is count your blessings Tuesday morning and be grateful. Be grateful for who you are. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for how much you do have. Simply counting your blessings and taking it to heart is probably the most magical seed you can plant. Okay? But there is a little bit more to this, and part of it has to do with us being tested. This week, as we do the new moon early Tuesday morning, Uranus will be at step 29 Aries. Okay, so that means that we are being tested to the final degree, and this is literally the day before Uranus moves into Taurus. So isn't that incredible that the universe has us manifest and plant these new seeds at the very last moment that Uranus is in Aries, and then boom, Uranus goes to Taurus to carry that seed away literally the next day. Okay, but this Uranus in Aries means that we are being tested in the winged ego. We are being tested in our strength. We're being tested in our determination. We're being tested in our courage, if you want to put it that way. We're being tested in our longevity, the ability to stay the course. All these things we're being tested at the moment that we're accepting and receiving. So it's kind of like having to take a bow while you have a whole bunch of monkeys climbing on you. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of what it is. These monkeys are our old monkeys. Now, Uranus is at step 29, and Mars, which is the ruler of Aries, is at step 29 Capricorn, which means at this new moon, we're also being tested for our ability to take control and our ability to have faith that things will work out, and being tested on our control issues. So what this really means is for you to have a master manifestation, you must step into everything you have learned and mastered over the last 10, 12 years. Not kidding. It is time this week to be your potential. And that's not to make you worry, like you can't really fail this, but you do want to put out your best effort and put out that first impulse as powerfully as you can, holding the old self back, holding the old feelings back, holding the old karma back, holding the old ego games back, just humbly telling the universe your heart wants this and your heart deserves it. Now, with that said, I want to help all 12 signs and just kind of give you some clarity in two areas. One area is, obviously, where are you planting for abundance? So I want to remind you where you are incredibly fertile, where you are manifesting abundance. And I would say for your sun sign, you definitely want to make sure you plant whatever it is I say and be focused on raising that to the next level, accepting that you're at a higher level. Because your A story or your sun sign is your seed. It is your potential. If the potential grows, then everything after it can grow. So listen and expand that, and from that you can grow anything. The other thing I'm going to tell you is where you are being tested with your ego. Where is the final test, and where must you stay the course? And as always, if you look at the side here, I'm going to put up on the side what sign I'm talking about so you can fast forward between your sun and rising sign or fast forward to a friend or family member. All right. That said, starting with Aries. For Aries, this is your final test of character. Since 2012, Aries has been working to be stronger, to evolve their ego, to evolve their reactions, to evolve their behavior. This week, between now and Wednesday, this is the final test. Now, Uranus will go back into Aries later this summer, but that's not really a test, that's a rewrite. So when it retrogrades back, after having been with Uranus and Taurus for a while, you're going to want to make some adjustments. This is the final test of your behavior. So Aries must stay true to the course. And here's the thing. Aries do have this temptation to just crash and burn at the last minute. I don't know why. It's just it's like an itchy trigger finger that they have, okay? So Aries I would say distract yourself, okay? Do things to keep yourself from falling into old behavior so that you plant the seed of truly new you. Now, what you must accept is that you're worth more. That's what you must emotionally accept, that you are worth more, which means the past doesn't matter, which means old debts don't matter, which means old behavior doesn't matter. You're worth more. And if anything else, that's the reason why you should stay true to your character, because you're worth more now. So stay true, and you are planting the seeds for true abundance. So Aries are about to be very fertile if they're lined up correctly. Taurus. For Taurus, this is the final test of faith. And God, do I know this one personally, okay? It has just been, God, I have to say, I will use the word hated Uranus and Aries for myself. I'm sorry, Geminis, it's coming up for you next. It's not easy for God to always say, have more faith. We'll have more. It's kind of like God's putting a gun at my bull feet and making me dance. Dance, bull, dance. So this is the final dance that Tauruses have to do of faith, to hold the faith, which means you don't have any evidence it's going to turn out. All these types of things. You're going to stick with what your gut tells you and wait for the final answer. So this is the final week of faith. Don't slip into karma. Don't slip into past life partnerships. Don't slip into anything from the past, Taurus. What you must accept, Taurus, is that you have changed. That's what Tauruses must accept, that you have changed, that things have changed, that you're now on a higher level, that your character has changed and your behavior has changed, and what you're aiming to be has changed. So for you to really be abundant, you have to accept the fact that you have transformed. And given that it's your birthday period, probably be easier to accept than other times of the year, because in your birthday, that's when you realize things have changed. Gemini. Gemini must stay true to their social calling. So I was saying this in a couple other shows ago. My son, who's a Gemini, finally figured out what he wants to do first in his life for his career. And it's like, stick with whatever that is. It's okay if you plan to change it later. It's okay if you want to change it later. But you must stay committed to whatever it is you want in society, at least as the first rung to hold on to, okay, for all you Geminis. So Geminis must stay true to what they know, who they need to be in the world. What's going to happen is you must now accept your new faith. So accepting faith, Gemini, means that when everything feels fine, your mind doesn't question it. Okay, like your mind doesn't go, what about this? What about that? No. You must emotionally accept where you have faith, and you must emotionally accept where you don't have faith, and you must not waver on what your social commitments are. So I think staying true to your social commitments will help your faith feel solid. Cancers. Cancers are having their final test of their future plans. So Cancers have been pulling themselves out of a certain sort of karmic rut and putting their life onto a new destiny path. And this has been going on since 2012, trying to find a new destiny path, a new destiny path. This is the last week where you have to stay really stubborn and focused on the destiny path that you want. So this is a test of you staying committed to your destiny. Now, what you're going to have to accept in yourself, Cancer, is that your place in the world has changed. That's what Cancers have to get used to. A lot of Cancers are being brought out into the real world right now to do real world things. And it's interesting because in World War II, I think a lot of Cancers went out and started working as nurses when otherwise they were just like home and family kind of people before that. But they went out and helped with the World War II effort the last time Uranus is in Taurus. Same thing with Cancers now. It's time to accept that you have a different role in the world, that you're going to be doing different things, and you must stay true to your commitments and your decisions thus far. Leos. Leos must stay true to believing in themselves. They must stay true to believing in themselves. Since 2012, they've been learning how to believe in themselves more and more. And this is the final test of believing in themselves. This is also the final test of them being committed to their life purpose. Life purpose is, this is what brings me joy, this is what brings me meaning. So Leos are having to stay true to what their life purpose and what they believe in themselves is, which means a lot of people may try to say you shouldn't believe in yourself or you're foolish for believing in yourself. Now, what Leos are going to have to accept is that their future is now changing. Your future is not what you thought it was going to be. So you're going to have to emotionally open up and accept and receive a different future legacy path than you might have imagined at the very beginning of your journey, okay? When you were dreaming about being a superstar, right? So you are emotionally accepting and receiving that your career legacy is now on a different path, maybe a more elevated path, hopefully a more royal path. And for you to be able to accept and receive that, you must stay true to believing in yourself. Virgos. This for Virgos is their final test of boundaries. Okay, so Virgos will be tested on their boundaries in this last week. That probably means that some ex will come begging back. You know, a lot of Virgos, they have boundary issues with saying no to people because they're so helpful and so giving and so healing. But this is the final week where you must stay true to your boundaries, and that includes boundaries with yourself, Virgo. So if you decided that you weren't going to eat sugar, you better not eat sugar this week. Okay, like whatever it is you promised yourself, live true to those boundaries. Now, what you must accept and receive, Virgo, is that your life purpose is changing, that you believe in yourself in a new way. And that's probably the big thing, accepting and receiving that you believe in yourself. You are so used to not believing in yourself, I think it's going to take some emotionally getting used to believing in yourself and believing in your purpose. That's what you have to open up to on the new moon. And when you do open up to it, do not waver on your personal boundaries and where you draw them, because if you are not strong with those boundaries, you'll have a hard time accepting and believing in yourself. Libras. Libras must stay true to their self-mastery path. So Libras since 2012 have been having to improve the relationship to themselves, and that means having to improve their relationships to others. And they've loved to focus on the others, but they haven't so much loved to focus on themselves. But this test this week is the final test of you being 100% true to you, Libra. You first. You must stay true to you. What this is going to accept and receive for you, or what you're going to open up, is that your life is changing. So Libras and Libra risings are having to emotionally accept that life is changing, that they are transforming, that they don't have the same spots that they used to have when they started this journey. And accepting change is kind of also means accepting trust, that they have to open up and emotionally trust that everything is going to happen. And the only way you can emotionally accept and trust is if you stay 100% true to the lessons of self-mastery you have learned in the last 8 years. Okay. Scorpios. Scorpios are having their final test of work and lifestyle. And I know this is true from my Scorpio friends. They are working their astro off. My brother, who's a triple Scorpio, he is being tested everywhere. So Scorpios must continue to perform and not give up, okay? You are being tested on your ability to live in the moment without going crazy, okay? So you must stay this week and not go crazy. What this is going to do is allow you to accept and receive that you are now calling or moving into self-mastery. So by staying the course in your lifestyle, you're going to be able to emotionally realize you're no junior anymore. You've now reaching the master level of how to deal with yourself, how to relate to yourself. And really, that's the only thing that's scary. Relating to others is easy if you know how to relate to yourself. So by staying true to your commitments in your daily life and your health and your work, you will accept and receive that you're on a master path, Scorpio. Sagittariuses are getting their final test of being true to their heart. So this might mean that some old lover calls you up, or your child wants a lot of money, or all sorts of things might pull on your heartstrings this week, Sagittarius, trying to get you diverted to worry more about someone else than yourself. And that is your spiritual crime, if you want to call it one, is that you tend to put others before your own heart, which is why you end up heartbroken. So Sagittariuses must stay completely true to their own heart and loving themselves first. This is necessary for them to accept and receive the new life. So Sages are getting emotionally used to a new life. A new life means new health, new work issues, new work environment, new commute to work, maybe new house, maybe new housemates, maybe new husband. Whatever is in your day-to-day, this is what you're emotionally trying to open up and accept now. And the only way you'll be able to accept this new life is if you know you are being 100% true to your own heart. By knowing that, you can accept the new life. Capricorns must stay true to their own emotional security. So everything you have learned since 2012, Capricorn, about feeling better, which has nothing to do with money or Wall Street or work, okay, it's just feeling better, you will be tested on your ability to self-nurture and feel grounded this week. And that commitment to feeling good is necessary for you to accept and receive that your heart is ready to receive what it wants. So this new moon is you accepting that your heart gets what it wants for its birthday, that your heart gets the love of your life, that your creative project gets greenlit, that your children get to go to Harvard. This is all about what your heart wants and accepting and receiving the idea that your heart could actually get what it wants. That's huge for Capricorns. But the only way you can pull that off is if you continue to nurture yourself 100%, because if the baby doesn't feel nurtured, you won't believe your heart can get what it wants. Aquarius must stay true to their mental attitude. So Aquariuses have been changing since 2012 how they think, what they focus on, what they prioritize, basically their marching orders. And I think you have figured out what the marching orders need to be. There's no need to discuss in your head anymore. It's time to move forward. So Aquariuses will be tested on their mind games, or any mental health issues this week. You'll be tested on your mental health. You must stay true to what you know about mental health and ideas and your plan if you're going to accept and receive your new security. So this new moon in Taurus is really about Aquarius and Aquarius risings feeling super emotionally secure, feeling really confident and feeling really grounded. And see, when that Aquarius a lightning rod is grounded by emotional security, you have the ability to pull lightning off of Uranus. Okay? And that's not a joke. Well, that's kind of weird. But you know what I'm saying. So it's important for you to stay true with your mental attitude, basically, Aquarius, or your emotions will take a dump. They will not, and you won't be able to really accept and receive that everything emotionally is okay, which is the potting soil to everything. And then lastly, the Pisces. Pisces must stay true to what they are worth, soul capital. So you can no longer negotiate on your price, Pisces. You must stay true to what you're worth, non-negotiable. You're better off having no customers than you are lowering your price. Okay, so it's vitally important that you maintain what you're worth, you maintain your goals for what you want to earn, you maintain your production and productivity levels, you keep it up at the level that you want it to be, that wealthy, abundant level. This is necessary for you to open up and accept and receive your new plans. So Pisces and Pisces risings are trying to emotionally accept a new way of thinking. And the only way you're going to be able to accept this new logic or this new plan or this new strategy is if you feel 100% confident and have no doubts. So you can have zero doubts about what you're worth so that you can accept and receive the grand plan. All right, so that is quite a mouthful. I need a drink of tea, actually. And I think this is going to be a very powerful week. As I have mentioned, you definitely want to honor what you are worth, be grateful on Tuesday, and do not fall back in any of these Uranus and Aries tests till the end of the week. And if you do that, I believe, my friend, you'll be on the path to not only manifestation, but abundance. Now, with that said, I think it's time to segue to my final little segment of our show. It's time for some good news. Here's some good news. Uranus is in Taurus. And you may go, Sensei, that's good news. I thought Uranus was tough. Uranus is tough, but the good news is Uranus is out of Aries. And I think that's really some good news. Why? Well, Uranus in Aries was one of the toughest transits I've ever experienced. It entered into Aries in 2012, so it's been there about 6 years so far. And Aries consciousness is our ego consciousness. And our ego is the part of us that fights. It's our ego that holds us back. It's our ego that's dogmatic. It's our ego that has ego problems. It's our ego that resists, okay? And Uranus is all about breaking through resistance. So having Uranus in Aries was us being broken, literally, at the part of ourself that fights to not be broken. And so because we were resisting, I think Uranus in Aries was one of the most difficult times we've ever gone through. Now, Uranus is a challenge, but I think it works a little better in other signs, such as Taurus. The last time Uranus was in Taurus was 1935. In fact, it was March of 1935. And if you know your world history, we were coming out of the Great Depression in 1935. And I think Uranus in Taurus was part of that get back to work energy that we felt here in the United States. I know that as soon as Uranus went into Taurus, Adolf Hitler literally decided to go ahead and rebuild his Air Force, the Luftwaffe. So he went forward with moving to arm ourselves when Uranus went into Taurus. And basically from 1935 to 1941, that entire industrialization, where we had women in factories, you know, Rudy the Riveter or whatever it was. We had, you know, putting out tanks, putting out planes. Great Britain was doing it. Germany was doing it. France was, every country that was involved in the lead up to the war was industrializing at a huge rate. And that was all Uranus in Taurus. Now, I think it was all for a bad outcome. And I think what we were industrializing over had to do with our ego and what Uranus and Aries had brought. So at the time, at the end of Uranus and Aries in 1935, we still defined our ego as whoever was the fastest, the smartest, who had the biggest bombs. And then Uranus and Taurus went and basically industrialized all those ideas for all those years. Uranus went into Gemini in 1941, which is still before the United States entered into the war. But at that point, the war turned into innovating ideas, innovating communication, innovating technology, Uranus and Gemini. And it wasn't so much this big industrialization. So we technically have not gone through an industrial boom since 1935, the last time Uranus is in Taurus. And I think that the world and the earth now, the good news is we're ready to go into a new industrial boom. And I think finally this one has some promise. For one, we're finally very conscious about clean air and about clean environment. I'm not saying we always do it, but I'm saying we're about to begin this next industrial boom with the idea that we need to protect Mother Earth. So I think this is going to be huge in the sense of, for once, we might have a boom that doesn't hurt the earth. At least it's a possibility. I think you're going to see a lot of boom in a lot of areas, such as genetics and science with genetics and solving diseases and stem cell research. So there's a huge technology boom that's going to happen in medicine right now. We're right at the breaking point where they've hijacked HIV to actually kill cancer cells. It's amazing. So I think in genetics, we're going to see a huge boom in the next 6 years. I think in artificial intelligence with computers, we're going to see a huge boom. We're going to start to have machines that are thinking on their own and learning on their own, and that's about to go to a huge boom. You already know that we're going to have a huge boom with self-driving cars, self-flying helicopters, self-flying planes. We already know we have a huge boom moving into electrical cars, right? And on top of that, it looks like we're really set up for another space boom. In fact, the last time we had Uranus and Taurus, that's when the rocket was invented by the Nazis, and that led us to the moon. Now we have self-flying and self-landing rockets, like with Elon Musk's type of thing, and we have all these billionaires trying to get to Mars and the moon on their own, separate from NASA and separate. So the good news is that things are about to get very industrious in a good way, and it's up to us, I think, to be conscious of where we plant our seeds, because wherever we plant, they're certainly going to boom. So that's my good news for the week. But I have some more good news. I myself am very excited about Uranus and Taurus, I just want to say, because I think not only are we going to see a technological boom, but I think we're going to see a boom in how we value life. And that's part of what Taurus is, what we value and how we value things and setting our values. And you could say World War II was very much a war over whose values were correct. Communist values, Hitler's values, or the United States democratic values. So there was kind of a values war going on. And I think that, this is where the light workers are meant to come out. This is where we're meant to state our values, that we should live in win-win situations, that we should work together, that we don't have to have other people starving on the planet or doing without on the planet. And that's where I'm personally excited, is that I think we're going to have an opportunity to reset our values. And I really think, looking at World War II, anything is possible. Don't be discouraged. Now, in that effort, some more good news. This weekend is Love Fest Day. I am doing a Love Fest here in Denver, Colorado. It will be at 1 p.m. at the Mercury Cafe in downtown Denver. We will be streaming this event live in the Namaste Today Club. I'm excited because this represents, to me, a new system of values. That we should value working together, that we should value supporting one another, and that we should value taking care of ourselves first, the one, if we want to see the world come to one. So this week, we're going to have special guest Master Suho from Brain Body Yoga. She's going to teach us some awesome techniques. I'm going to speak on manifesting abundance. And we have Memory Lemfers, who's going to release her book, Yogi. On top of that, we have a bunch of vendors from Denver. We have people flying in. It's going to be a good time. And mostly, what I'm excited about is hanging out with a bunch of light walkers at the same time. So if you're going to be in the Colorado area, come on down and see us in the Mercury Cafe. If you can't make it to Denver, no worries. You can stream it live on the web. Just visit namastetoday.club and make sure you join to be a member before the event, because we're going to be busy. Some more good news. I am very happy to say that I will be visiting Cleveland, Ohio on June 16th. So I'll be in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm going to be doing a presentation called Steps to Heart-Centric Joy. and I'm going to be the guest of Mary Maynard. So if you know Mary Maynard, I know she's referred a lot of people to me, but I'll be there speaking and also doing personal readings for people who are there. If you want to know more about it, tickets and whatnot, you can go to centeredwellness.org. centeredwellness.org. So I look forward to seeing my Cleveland, Ohio peeps on June 16th. Some more good news. Sensei is a part of a new online master course series called Your Creative Fire. And basically, another Lightwalker reached out to me. Her name is Jennifer Dove. She's put together basically a master class of all these different senseis of different things. And she's done these 30-minute interviews with them. And she's basically releasing all these on May 28th. And I was interviewed just recently for Jennifer's program. It's totally free. That's the whole thing. It's totally free. All you have to do is sign up with your email address, give away your email marketing power, and you can go for free, okay? I've set up a jump for you to sign up. And again, it's free. Don't worry about it. Go to namastetoday.me, namastetoday.me, and it'll take you straight to Jennifer Dove's sign-up page. And basically, it's called Your Creative Fire, How to Ignite Your Intuition, Claim Your Joy, and Unleash the Life You Truly Deserve. So who can argue with that? It'll be live on Memorial Day weekend. You'll be able to watch it and find out more. Go to namastetoday.me. Then I just want to say a warm welcome to everyone to come to my personal Sensei service. Right now, I am doing an in-depth video series on the secrets to manifestation. Yes, we're covering the first 11 steps, but this week we move into chapter 2. So I'm going to discuss step 12, step 13, and so on. You can join and try my personal Sensei service for just $3.99. Come on down to SeriousJoy.com. And then finally and lastly, the good news, Namaste Today Club. We have a little club on the internet. It's in Facebook, and this is where I do a lot of my announcements, such as going to Ohio, our Love Fest, our events, and where we'll be streaming the live Love Fest. So don't be a stranger. Come hang out with other Lightwalkers on the web where it's always positive. Our only rule is that you always use a compassionate voice. If you're not already a member, visit namastetoday.club. All right, friends, that's all my good news. Boy, that's a lot of good news. We got a lot of good stuff. This is going to be a great week. This is a powerful week of manifesting. Make sure that you stay in your heart and you plant the seeds only of things that you want to see come back again, again, and again. And in a strange, interesting coincidence, I myself will be back again. Until next week, remember, friend, I love you. Live, love, be.